Thanks for joining on time. This is the joint webinar conducted by Estuate as well as ASG on the topic of amplification of the information governance with a robust, data lineage. These days we live in interesting times, right? There is, with all the emergence of various, social platforms, there is almost a data and information explosion that we are seeing across various, platforms, and even enterprises are not really insulated from the information explosion. So with that, information governance, of course, becomes, very, very key. At the same time, being able to trace the source of the data through a very robust lineage is also a very, very key requirement for many enterprises. Of course, there are many reasons why you need a very strong, data lineage solution. First and foremost is the various regulatory and compliance reporting requirements that exist today, and which are driving most of these data lineage initiatives, as we see. Based upon our discussion with various customers, we realize that though customers have various tools in their landscape which try to solve this problem, so far there wasn't one single solution which can really help them, not just the information governance aspect, but also the data lineage aspect, and that's where we decided to partner with ASG, which is one of the market leaders in data lineage space. And we said, what, let's address this solution by marrying two best of the breed solution. And what you will see in today's webinar, that how can IBM's IGC and ASG's data lineage solution can be coupled very, very seamlessly, so that the end user doesn't have to really swap across various applications to see not just the information governance part, but also the data lineage part. So that's a background. I hope we will address your questions and some of the active interest that you will have. With that, let me introduce speakers for today's webinar. We have Marc, who is our IBM practice lead as well as Chief Operating Officer from Estuate. And we also have Yetkin Ozkucur, who is the VP and practice lead from ASG's side. He has deep interest as well as expertise in data intelligence suite, and both of them will be walking us through not only about solution, but how this is unique and how it helps solve various customer problems as well as use cases. At the end of the webinar, we will also have Gaurav, who's our enterprise architect and the product manager for the Data Connector that Estuate has developed. He'll be giving a live walkthrough of our proposed solution. A quick reminder for everyone, all the attendees are in a listen-only mode, so we will not be able to hear you, but feel free to post questions in the chat window. We will take those questions up at the end of this session. So a quick overview of Estuate. We are a Silicon Valley company headquartered in Santa Clara. We were founded in 2005, and the core or the DNA of our organizations is essentially a data and platforms company. While we are in multiple areas, one of our key expertise is various data solutions. Right, be it data masking, data platforms, and now we are also attempting to do something similar in the data lineage space, and that is what you will see in coming slides. So without further ado, let me have Marc come in. Marc?
Yes, good morning, everyone. I'm Marc Ebert. I'm the COO for Estuate. I also manage a long-term relationship with IBM. Our core strategy at Estuate has always been to build deep relationships with software companies. That often starts with a product engineering relationship and then moves into a resell and implementation relationship. And that's exactly what we've done with IBM over a long 10-year stretch. So I joined Estuate 10 years ago, and I've been managing the IBM relationship since then. We have a very deep product engineering development relationship with IBM across a number of products in the whole area that IBM now calls unified governance and integration. And it's really a timely area now, especially with some of the regulatory requirements coming into play this week. In fact, GDPR in Europe comes into effect in 2 days, and that's driving an awful lot of companies to pay attention to governance. And so we've been very successful in building a governance practice with IBM, initially with IBM Optum, which is a family of enterprise data management products. We've been doing product development for close to 10 years with about 350 implementations. But more importantly and more recently, we've also been doing product development for the Information Governance Catalog product, IGC. That product is the core metadata repository for many IBM customers, and it's really relevant as many customers now are launching formal governance initiatives, and they're codifying their metadata across applications at the enterprise into IGC. And so that core platform now is the kind of the anchor of the information of the unified governance practice and product strategy for IBM, and we're really very pleased to be part of all that and central to that relationship within IBM. Next slide, Prasanna. We do recognize, though, that while IGC is a core platform for governance for many IBM customers, as they now focus on data lineage across their applications and using IGC as the repository for it, we also see that many of those customers are not using IBM products to really execute their data lineage strategy. And so we have partnered with ASG to come up with a best-of-breed strategy. And so we're really pleased to announce our integration between IBM IGC and the ASG platform to give you best-of-breed data lineage capability. And so we're going to market now with ASG around this connector, and you'll be seeing how it all works this morning. And I'm going to let Yetkin pick it up from there. Yetkin?
Yeah, thank you, Marc. And hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. My name is Yetkin Ozkucur. I'm the VP and Global Practice Lead for our Data Intelligence Solutions at ASG. Adding to what Marc and Prasanna was explaining in the beginning of the meeting, I have been with ASG for 17 years, and we have been delivering implementations all over the world, and we see customers at different maturity levels in their data governance program. And one of the trends what we are seeing is data lineage is becoming a fundamental basis for enterprise data management, because data lineage answers the questions such as, where is this data source from? How is it calculated? Am I pulling this source data from a trusted source? Who owns this data? Where does it change custody? Do I have any data quality issues? How can I do root cause analysis? How can I get rid of bad data, such as the data which is redundant or no value to business? And as we engage with different types of customers, we also see some customers, especially in this case, our IBM IGC customers, have already been going through their data governance program. They already established their roles and responsibilities. They already started defining their definitions. And they come to a level they need detailed automated data lineage. So in that case, of course, these customers do not want to throw away what they already started building, or they do not want to introduce a new tool to their end users, so that the users don't want to bounce back and forth between different UIs to be able to see business assets, lineage, or other aspects. So the goal is really to have a one-stop shop for the end users where they can log in and view the business metadata as well as the technical metadata, the end-to-end lineage within the same user interface. So that's what we have been building with Estuate using our data lineage appliance. Next slide, please, Prasanna. So what this interface give you is, from an end user perspective, it is very easy. When the end users log into IGC, when they open a business asset such as a definition, in this case we are looking at an account ID, they can see the definitions and other attributes, and they will also see a link. When they click on it, they will be able to see the lineage. So from an end user perspective, it's very easy. So what's happening in the background is this Igc connector is running in the background, fully automated, synchronizing the Igc and the ASG's repositories, finding the data elements and matching them and linking them so that when a user opens a business asset, he will be able to see the relevant lineage information. I'd like to add a couple of words on what ASG brings to the table in terms of lineage. For those of you who are not familiar with ASG's data intelligence, we have so-called scanners for over 230 different technologies. And what these scanners does is they go out and crawl through the source code, crawl through the catalogs, repositories, big data environments, and they bring in all this technical metadata and provide the end-to-end lineage. So in this case, when you get this connector, like I said, it's fully automated, no development, no customization is necessary on the client side, and it is complementary to IGC interface. It's not a dependent place. In the following slides, I think Grau is going to walk you through the capabilities more in detail, followed by a live demo. Grau, over to you.
Thank you, Yetkin. What we are going to see in the demo is about the product called Idc Connector, and Idc Connector provides a seamless integration between IGC and ASG lineage. We have a this product can be deployed into either either in IGC WebSphere itself, or can be installed in a standalone instance as well. So let's look at the design, like how this whole thing works. We have in IGC we have categories and terms. So the connector basically syncs the categories. So we have two things, right? Business terms, and then we have the technical data. Now the business terms are first the business terms are synced between ASG and IGC. Then the software basically syncs the technical assets to the business glossary. As you can see, there are two types of assets here: categories and terms. The categories and terms are extracted from IGC by the connector and then syncs into ASG. In the ASG, the data steward basically assigns these terms the technical assets. Once the mapping is done, the sync process basically comes back and then attaches the lineage information with the IGC application. And this whole thing works in the background. We can schedule it, and it automatically does that. Periodically, we have scheduler jobs, which does this whole work. We will show you in the demo how this actually is done. So first we are going to take a look at the Igc connector so that you have a feel like how the entire system works in the background. Then we will see how the seamless integration of IGC business terms and the ASG lineage is achieved. What you're seeing is the user interface. It's a graphical interface of Igc Connector. It runs in a WebSphere instance, fully deployable solution. We have a login authentication. Once we put the login and password, we can log into the interface. As you can see, there are 4 different options available here: jobs, reports, configuration, and scheduler. Where we can run the extract jobs or the lineage sync jobs directly. We can also schedule them. We can see all the reports. And scheduler is capable of doing multiple different variations. We can activate the scheduler, deactivate scheduler, define the frequency. Frequency can be days, weeks, daily, weekly, and monthly. And you can provide a timing when you want to execute it. So this is a sneak preview of how the Idc Connector looks like, fully automated. And once it is configured, it runs in the background and it keeps the syncing process running. You don't really need a third-party integration software to achieve this. Now let's see how the lineage works in Igc. Oftentimes, customers don't like to go into another product. They want to see lineage right inside their own application. And in this case, we want to provide a seamless integration so that the users don't have to navigate from one application to another. And in this demo, we will show you how this is done. First, let's log into the IBM Igc instance. And we will look for our data set. Now we're going to search for a particular category here and see some of the terms. And I will make it more full screen here. It's easy to see. We have 10 different terms associated with this category called Estuate. Let's go and then click on account ID. Now here you can see let me stop this recording. So you can see a field called ASG link. This link is holding the lineage information. And this lineage information is clickable. You have a hyperlink right here. The information itself explains about a 5-part key. You can see there is a connection information, schema, database schema, table name, and a field name. So it defines, it's a meaningful, purposeful information captured in the link itself. And when user basically clicks on this link, it goes to the ASG and shows you a graphical presentation of this asset. Now, what you're seeing, I'll stop it here. What you're seeing is a lineage diagram. It tells you all the backward connectivity, or you can see where the data is coming from. So on the right side, you see the account ID. And many other systems are flowing in this information to this table. There are many options available here: high-level lineage, detailed lineage, backward overview, backward detail, and forward. Now, sometimes business users want only the high-level information. They don't want complete. But we have all options available here. We can run it. And we are still in the same context. We are able to see the backward and the forward lineage information in the same interface. Again, we are back to the backward overview, just to show you how it looks like. This ends the demo. This is how how much easy it is, convenient it is to create the background job, schedule the background job, and once the background process are complete, we are easily able to see the lineage. Lineage automatically shows up in IGC. And this does not require much technical knowledge for the customers. Once the application is configured, it is fully automated. With that said, I will basically stop here and hand it over to Prasanna.
Sure. Thanks, Gaurav. Great demo. And I see that we have some questions already coming in. Maybe I can sort of do the triage. The first one might be for Gaurav. The question, Gaurav, is, so in the demo we saw the forward and the backward lineage. So how does it work? Can you throw some more light?
The backward lineage and the forward lineage. This is one of the most demanding requirements in lineage. Most times customers do want to see where the data is coming from and where is it going. And such scenarios could be like, say, a customer has a third-party data which is coming in, and they have a liability to follow the agreements, right? So if the customer does not know where the data is coming from, and what are the sources, what are the restrictions available, restrictions applied for the data sharing, they don't know if they can share it with third party or not. So as I was showing in the demo, we have this drop down which explains the backward lineage and the forward lineage. We start with a data element. Let's say we are talking about account ID. Once we select the account ID in the IGC interface, we see the hyperlink. When we click on the hyperlink, we go to the ASG DI, and in the ASG DI, we see the backward and the forward mapping of the systems. So it's very convenient. I've seen customers using the same screenshot, converting into PDF, and then sharing with the team members, and visualizing where the data is coming from and where is it going.
Sure. Thanks, Gaurav. The next question, and I think Yetkin, you may want to chime in here. So in the demo that Gaurav presented, the question is, in the flow diagram there were some colors which are used to signify the lineage. So how does it work, and can you explain the significance of the various colors in the data lineage diagrams that we saw?
Yes, definitely. Thank you, Prasanna. Gaurav, if you are able to show the diagram, it will be easier. Otherwise, I can just start speaking. So the boxes, the hubs on that lineage diagram represent the data stores. For instance, in this case, these red boxes represent the database tables and columns. Depending on how much detail you selected, let's assume you picked the detail level, which is the attribute level lineage. So in this red box, you will be seeing the hierarchical address of that column, starting from the database schema table and column, and you will also see the column type. Those green boxes represent the files and or copybooks, so to say, so whatever the files you have on your file system. This purple box over there, what you see at the bottom of the screen, is your logical models. So if you have defined your logical or physical models, you can also upload it to our repository, and they will also show up on the diagram. There are some other colors we use for big data or for to highlight the transformations. These are all documented in the legend.
Sure. Thanks, Yetkin. The next question also, Yetkin, I may request you to chime in. So the question is there an option for selective data visibility if the lineage covers, too many business assets? So I think this might be with respect to, is there a provision for limiting or, controlling the visibility across, data assets?
Yes, that's a very good question too, because I mean, in real life, the lineage diagrams tend to get really complicated and really big very, very quickly. And I mean, you might just end up a whole tons of boxes and arrows look like spaghetti. The good news is on our visualization, on our diagrams, we also provide options to highlight and just to view a selected path, or you have also options to filter, for instance, things like lookup tables. Most of the time people don't want to see the lookup tables, or they don't want to see the staging or temp tables. We have options to filter those out as well.
Okay, sure. Thanks, Yetkin. There's another question which is with respect to the 5-part key. So I'll request Gaurav to chime in. So Gaurav, specifically the question is, can you explain how the process of syncing between both applications, that is IGC and ASG data lineage work, and if you can elaborate the 5-part key a little bit more?
Sure, yeah. Very nice question. We have business assets, and we need to find where these business assets are located. All these business assets have to be mapped with the technical data. This technical data could be anything. There are 230 connectors, scanners available ASG. Each scanner is designed for a different product or different type of product. It could be a database. It could be a integration. It could be a transformation, PL SQL, anything. Now, how do we map a business asset with the technical metadata? To solve this problem, a generalized solution is designed. It's called 5-part key. A 5-part key is a locator or an address of an information asset. Information asset can be anything, but the address defines where it is found. When the data steward is mapping the business asset with the technical metadata, technical definition, or the technical asset, I would say, at that time we can do a search. This search can be for a connection, for a database or a technical asset, for the schema table column, and that defines where the asset is located. Now, in a simple scenario, in a database scenario, we have a connection name, then we have a database name, we have the schema followed by table name, then the column name. That's how you can explain where the exact field is stored in a particular database. So we define the 5-part key as a locator or an address for the information asset.
Sure. Thanks, Gaurav. Thanks for throwing some more light. There is one more question coming in, and this is with respect to the pricing or the availability. This specific question is the connector sold as a licensed product, and whom can I contact if interested? Good to see interest coming in. Yeah. So this connector it is developed by Estuate, and it will become part of ASG's price list, and we are expecting that to happen by early June. So another week or two, it will definitely become part of ASG's product list. So if you are interested to know more or the pricing, you can reach out to either your ASG sales lead, or you can even reach out to Estuate. There is a email alias which is displayed on the screen now. Contact us at estuate.com. So either with respect to the pricing of the connector, or if you are wanting to know more about your IGC and ASG, data connector, how it will work, etc., feel free to reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to arrange a deep dive session for you. Thanks again to all the participants for attending this webinar. I think we are. I don't see any more questions coming in. As I said again, this connector development is a joint initiative between Estuate and ASG. You can reach out to either one of us, and the email address as well as phone number is there. We'll be happy to line up a deep dive follow-up with you.
We should send the deck to everybody who registered.
Yeah, and you will also receive a copy of a deck in case you have any follow-up questions. Thank you again, and with that we conclude today's webinar. Thank you very much for your participation.